Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Panchakalpatruviyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Shri Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Dhanavad Pranam, devotees, good morning. I will try to speak up. Sometimes just a little low key in the morning. Of course, it's much later in the morning, but I was doing some study and trying to get some other services done. So, a question that came in yesterday, which I partially replied to personally, and I said that I would also reply to publicly because that was a request from the person who wrote in the question. And the question, I paraphrased it in the title, which is, can you have disagreement with Sri Guru? So this stemmed from, so let me give the backdrop first. So this apparently stemmed from a devotee who participated in a Zoom conference, or either saw the Zoom conference because he sent it to me, of his Gurudev, and his Srila Gurudev was speaking that there is a factual basis for the jiva falling from the spiritual world, and he gives a reference for it in Srimad Bhagavatam. So I have spoken at length on that particular topic before, in terms of Jiva Tattva and the Jiva's fall, and I even addressed directly, because I've heard this before, the allegorical reference that's in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam in the story of Puranjan, and Narada Muni's narration of it to Maharaj Prachinabhari, and of course, both in the first verse of the 5th chapter and in the purport of the previous verse quoted, which was, I believe, 829 or something. Anyway, so in that verse, in the purport, also Srila Prabhupada addresses the fact that it's an allegorical story. So it is not a history, nor is it a siddhant that the jiva can fall from the spiritual world. I don't need to reiterate that. There's unlimited videos, praman, everything for obviously correcting this apasiddhantic idea. So here, more to the point, is whether or not the disciple is in a position to disagree with that statement because it's their guru. It's the person in whom they've, by whatever means, had relationship with as guru. Not had, but have relationship with as Sri Guru. So I titled the talk here, that can one have disagreement with Sri Guru? And that was to give some thought process to the idea that what do we mean, first of all, by Sri Guru? Because Guru, it's clearly stated, Gu Shabdat Andakarasha, Ru Shabdat Andakarasha Nirodita. So ignorance has always been compared to darkness. And the very nature of what is Guru is that person in whom the Shakti of Bhagavan exists and therefore has the power to remove the darkness of avidya. Because in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 11th canto, 22:10, I've quoted many times, in the 3rd line of that verse, it is mentioned, Svatona Sambhavanti, that the avidya, or the principle of Maya that covers the chitta of the jiva, cannot be removed by their own self-endeavor, but rather, Svatona Sambhavanti Anya, it requires another person. But then it gives a description, Gyanatva Gyanado Bhavet. So Gyanatva means who has realization, empowerment from Akhanda Guru Tattva in all the siddhants regarding bhakti and the jiva and Bhagavan, etc. Because without being Siddhantavit, then you cannot dispel the darkness of Samshaya, means doubts, and ignorance in general of a disciple. So the qualification for being Guru is therefore described as Tatvadi Pradipatena Paripushnena Sarya Upatakshanti Te Ganam Gyaninas Tattva-darshan. They have to have, so Tattva-darshi is a person who's seen directly by their siddhi in bhajan, they've seen Bhagavan. This one idea. Another, not idea, but one truth. Another meaning here will be that person who has had darshan of the tattva, tattva darshana. They've had darshan, at least means anubhuti, some realization of the tattva of Bhagavan. So in that particular case, there should never be a situation that arises where there should be disagreement with Guru. But certainly the nature of Guru also expressed in that verse, Pariprishna. The ability to ask questions about Siddhanta should be there. And Guru should be able to remove the doubts of the disciple by sadhu and sastra praman. Because if he's Guru, then also by sadhu and sastra praman, he should remove, or she should remove, the doubts of the Sishya or disciple. So there's really not a protocol for disagreement. If it has come to a point where there is disagreement, then that has to be addressed. And the modality and methodology for addressing it is, first of all, very, very deep mood of humility and prayer to Akhanda Guru Tattva Shri Nityananda. That, oh Nityananda, please grant me the mercy, power, insight to be able to, in all humility, approach the person who is representing you, Vyasti Guru Tattva, and get clarity on this subject. Where there is genuine Guru-disciple relationship, then the nature of the affection between Guru and disciple would not be broken by the sincerity of an inquiry into the truth about something, into the Siddhanta regarding bhakti. Then Guru should not be offended, affected, should not be considered that they're being challenged, so forth and so on. And if Guru is properly prepared, then Shri Guru would have the ability to, by Siddhant, be able to remove the doubt of that disciple. And also with love and affection there also, right? Not with a mood that this person is dared to challenge me, this person is dared to ask me something after I've made a conclusive statement. This is not Guru. Understand? So this is one thing. On the other hand, the disciple has to be extremely careful, because Guru is also a principle. Persona of Guru is reality, but there is a principle also of Guru, right? Just like, giving an example, there is the institution of a presidency or prime ministership or whatever the leadership role is in any given place. There is a institution related to that, and then there's the person occupying that. So both things have to be addressed whenever we consider dealing with that position. In the same way, there has to be a mood of humility, a mood of sincerity, a mood of adar, respect, when addressing the institution of Guru. The person occupying that position of Guru should be also taratmik. It should be a oneness of heart with the qualities of that position. And therefore there should not be a rising of a dichotomy or uncomfortable situation or anything like that, right? Of course, also I've stressed over a number of these sessions how the nature of the relationship with Guru is not only Guru Padasraya, then Diksha, Siksha. But Visramba Seva is very important, because Visramba means when intimacy of heart has been made, because the transmission of anything requires a clarity of the transmitting or the conduit by which you're trying to transmit something. So only when the disciple and the Guru come to the position of Vishramba can there be a good enough conduit to transfer information from one heart to another. If there is a blockage in the transmission due to Aishwarya, or transmission due to distance created by an institutional consideration, that is Guru, I'm nothing, I'm this and that, right? And it's sort of an artificial, an artificial arrangement, because something is being related to a position, not to the actual person, right? Because Guru-disciple relationship is personalism. Relationship with Bhagavan is personalism. And when you make it impersonal by creating, based on an institutional idea, oh, Guru is very, very high, and I can't really have any sense of Visramba or sweetness or intimacy or heart-to-heart mood, then the relationship is corrupted to some degree, because you'll never be able to, in earnest, express yourself. And therefore, whatever doubt you have will remain as doubts under the fear of violating some kind of etiquette in relation to Guru. But when there's Vishramba, when there's the mood of all of the adar, all of the respect, everything else for Guru is foundational, and then that becomes covered by the sweetness of the Vishramba, that is the proper relationship with Sri Guru. So I would suggest, and what I told in the personal reply, you have to pray very deeply to Sri Nityananda, Akhanda Guru Tattva, that he will help you to find a way to navigate the means by which you can get your doubt removed. And if in removing your doubt, it is revealed that perhaps the siddhant that person presented is not correct, then Shastra says it is not a reason to leave Shri Guru because of a meager presentation of knowledge. Guru may not be high class of scholar, this thing, and that. That's not reason to give up the association of Guru. But certainly, you would have to take Siksha. So it means you have to approach a Vaishnav, Sadhu, and receive Siksha and get your doubts cleared. You understand? Now, we know that in our line, this Bhagavat Parampara line, that Siksha relationships are very prominent. We see that in the life of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And we see it in the life of many Vaishnavas in our line. So it is not an unusual thing that there may become a prominence of the relationship with Siksha Guru, right? And there may still be some official adar for the position of Diksha Guru. If that Diksha Guru is not able to carry out the function of what should be there in the relationship between Guru and disciple. Now, there are reasons by which Shri Guru may be given up. So it's mentioned in Shastra, Avaishnavo Padishtena Mantrena Nirayam Brajet. If that person is not Vaishnav, means either by the nature of their quality, activities, so forth, they are not Vaishnav, or they are not in the Vaishnav line. There are 4 Vaishnava lines, and they're not in one of these Vaishnav lines, and especially in this case, if they're not in the line of conception of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then it could be that no, their initiation will not help us to achieve our goal. Rather, it could be, in some cases, where Nirayam Brajet means the mantra given by them could lead to opposite results. So in that case, Punascha Vidina Sabhyak Grahayat Vaishnavat Guru. In that case, one should then give up that relationship and one should approach genuinely Vaishnav Guru. So I'll give reference for where you'll find these things in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Also, it's written in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, which is the work of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So these are just places where this is quoted, but the basis of it is in Hari Bhakti Vilas. And also, Guru Apyavaliptasya, which is quoted originally in Mahabharata. Guru Apyavaliptasya karema karema jnanata utpata praripannasya paritagyo vididyate. So, also if Guru karyam akaryam ajnanata, they don't know what is to be done and what is not to be done. For instance, in a situation like this, where the disciple has some doubt in a siddhanta presented, and they're presenting adequate siddhantic evidence that what you're presenting is not correct, then one of two things. Either Shri Guru can consider, because humility doesn't only exist in the Sishya, Pranarapi Sunich exists in any person, especially more so in Guru, because in realized state, then Paripokena Danasha Krishna Premaja Samvitanyate. Sanatana Goswami Pad has spoken that humility becomes pakka, means mature in deeper levels of realization. So Guru should be more Trinadapi Sunich. So if hearing this and seeing the overwhelming amount of evidence in regard to something, Guru can say, oh, looking at it from this angle of vision, looking from this point of view, yes, perhaps I've spoken incorrectly. If there is an attachment to the pratishta of I am Guru, first of all, that means there's indication of Guru Abhiman, which also is problematic. Because Guru doesn't consider I am Guru. Guru considers I am servant of my Guru Dev. Ami Sishya Tava Takya Savara Guru Abhimana Tyaji. And he's always begging, oh, may the Guru Abhiman, which is the seed of Pratishta Asha. Pratishta Asha means the desire for name, fame, so forth. That will be very far away from me. So, but if that's not there, then Guru can consider, oh, in the face of overwhelming evidence like this, I will have to reconsider. And then love and affection, oh, my disciple, you've opened one avenue for me. You've spoken in such a way, you've opened one avenue for me. So, oh, this is Krishna's mercy on us. I'm so fortunate to have a disciple like you. You understand? This should be mood. Because if the mood is Guru-disciple based in love and affection, these kind of things can happen. If it's based in Guru Abhiman and all these different things, then the relationship is, first of all, not genuine. Because it's like role playing. I'll play the role of Guru, so I can say I have a Guru. And Guru's thinking, I'm playing the role of Guru. I'm a Guru. I have Guru Abhiman, and I have so many disciples. So this is also already a problem, right? But if Karema Jnanata, Guru doesn't know what's to be done, it's also mentioned in Mahabharata, that will cause a disturbance. Therefore, Paritagyo Avidiyate. Therefore, one should give up also the association of that Guru. Giving up association doesn't mean offending. We don't want to offend anyone. So it does not mean to therefore develop a mentality of ill will, to criticize, to make any offense by mind even towards Guru. Just only realizing for my growth, Akhanda Guru Tattva has revealed to me that my situation here to advance in bhakti is not tenable. Therefore, under the influence of the inspiration of Akhanda Guru Tattva, which means I also would have to be very sincere to be able to distill the fact this is the inspiration of Akhanda Guru Tattva, I need to find Siksha, or if necessary, to find genuine Diksha Guru and to continue to progress in bhakti. That has nothing to do with offending the previous person whom you had that relationship with, because then it will be seen whatever relationship you had prior to coming in contact with genuine Guru, Diksha or Shiksha, etc., it means that was also part of the unfoldment of your bhakti. That was meant to give an impression, right? Because we're learning both directly and indirectly in bhakti, right? Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, Anvyad Vyatareka Byam, Yat Sat Savatra Sarvada. You should search for absolute truth up to this, directly and indirectly. So indirectly, anything that happens which may not seem to be the positive side of my unfoldment, the negative side was a contributing factor to positivity and unfolding. By that event, I could understand, oh, this is what is actually Guru Tattva. This is actually what is the Siddhanta regarding this or that. This is actually the methodology of practice. You understand? So there is no inauspiciousness on the path of bhakti, right? The first two leaves of bhakti are kleshagni shubhada, right? That all of these stressful things should be removed, and subhada, the path of auspiciousness, is open. So whatever's happening in the path of bhakti, there is some auspiciousness there for me if I'm if I'm in a position where I'm seeing it like that. If I will see, oh, somehow I was cheated, right? I took initiation from this person and now I'm very angry because I'm realizing if this attitude is there also, it will not help your bhakti. So again, in great humility and in even great well-wishing for that person, right? That, oh, I've seen that this person is not capable to help me to distill clearly my path for bhakti. I've witnessed some apasiddhanta here, or I've witnessed some activities that are not consistent with progression on the path of bhakti. You understand? So, and there's different ways of dealing with each of those different things. But still the mood should remain that this is my unfoldment in bhakti. And again, tate anukampam susumikshimano bunjevatma kritam vi atma vipakam. That somehow this is in me, this unfoldment. So we will not begin to point fingers, oh, that guru was bogus, he cheated me, these kind of things. We'll think, no, somehow atma kritam. Somehow, in my own necessity of advancement, this test, this situation came to me, and now it is a chance for me to advance in bhakti according to the mood taught by our acharyas. This is why I quoted from Sastra regarding this issue, right? That from Hari Bhakti Vilasa, from Mahabharata, and it's so rare that you don't find a lot of verses that deal with it, right? So if that person is proven to be a Vaishnav means they're not acting like Vaishnav. Some will translate this verse meaning a Vaishnav meaning like from another, like any Mayavadi, any other kinds of person, but it doesn't mean just that. A Vaishnav also means, literally, a person who does not demonstrate Vaishnavata. That person is also a Vaishnav. If they're not demonstrating Vaishnavata, then they're not Vaishnav. Certainly, they may not be Vaishnav Guru. They may be aspiring on the path of Vaishnavism, but by realization might not be Vaishnav Guru. Now, even if a person has not realized their siddhi, they have not realized bhavavast, still, then they should be sastrayukti sunipunya judeshwarayandra. Their faith should be fixed because of sastra and sastrayukti. Now, of course, judeshwarayandra means also in a sadhu. So their faith is not only in Bhakti, Radha Krishna, Gaura, Mahaprabhu, but in a sadhu. So the firmness of their faith in a sadhu is also backed by Sastra and Sastrayukti. Means Sastra and the logic of Sastra. Right? Now, that should also give rise to some realizations in the heart. So it's not simply external learning and external logic. But it is Sastra and Sastrayukti that spawn Anubhuti Bhavati means like realizations. Understand? That way, their communications are not simply external or academic, but their expressions are actually coming from genuine realizations. Understand? So that person, Uttamadikari se tare sansar. Rupa Goswami is described to have Uttamadikar in eligibility for sadhana. They are not Uttam Bhagavat. There's a difference. They have Uttam Adhikar, eligibility, in the practice of sadhan because they have all the necessary tools to progress in sadhan bhakti towards the goal. They're fully equipped in that way. So they're Uttam in eligibility for practicing sadhan bhakti. So hopefully this was helpful to that devotee. And in general, how we should approach such a thing. So it is not really, I put it in the title to generate the thought process. Is it possible to have a disagreement with Guru? And actually not. Because also, it should always be where there is reconciliation. Reconciliation means Siddhant can be reconciled. Because Bhagavan himself is Advaya Gyan Paratattva, he is absolute. And therefore, anything which comes in contact with the absolute truth will find reconciliation. You understand? It may not turn out the way you want it to, but it'll be reconciled. You understand? So in terms of this issue, especially, if the jiva has fallen directly from the spiritual world, it is overwhelmingly by Sastra Praman, by Sadhu Vakya, means sayings of sadhus, gurus, etc., that it is not possible to fall from the spiritual world into the material world. And no kind of, material imposition of logic on Sastra will change that. So I mentioned a very long time ago, because this is another perennial issue. There are certain issues that come up annually regarding certain things. The Swarupa of the Jiva, meaning Bhakti is inherent or not, the fall of the Jiva from the spiritual world. So there are certain issues which arise every year and they go through a period of discussion and they quell or they die down and then they rise again later, right? So this is one of those kind of issues. But overwhelmingly, in this particular case especially, there is no evidence anywhere that a person who is established in a relationship with Krishna in the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, Golok Vrindavan, Ayodhya, anywhere in the spiritual world, can fall from that position due to the influence of anything, because first of all, there is no Maya anywhere in the spiritual world, right? So many verses have spoken to that. Secondly, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, when he described the nature of the relationship with Krishna, or with any form of Bhagavan, he mentioned very clearly, Savata Dongsa Yarapi Dongsha Karane, Yet Baba Bandhano, Prema Parikirtida. The nature of praying is that it does not break a relationship even when there's a cause, but rather it increases the Yad Bhava Bandhano, it increases the relationship. So there is no kind of imposition that could come in the spiritual world and create an influence which would break the nature of praying with Bhagavan. There's no possibility. What to speak that in the spiritual world there is no Maya. So some people have theorized, well, okay, then the genesis of this fall doesn't take place in the spiritual world, but in the Tatashta Shakti. But there is no place called Tatashta. Tatashta is a swabhav of the jiva. It is not a locale. You understand? So it's not a question that you then moved from the position of the spiritual into the Tatashta region, and therefore this could happen there. So all such kind of logic, you don't find it in scripture anywhere. And you do find overwhelming evidence that you cannot fall from a relationship with Krishna. Yat datva nivartante. Once you reach my abode, you never return here. Right? So I don't know how the particular devotee has rationalized or come to that conclusion. I have not understood it for some years. But again, we want to avoid criticism also, because it's not helpful. It will not help your bhajan. It will not help the understanding of the issue either, to simply be critical. Oh yeah, see those persons, they're all opposite dantik, they're not really guru. It's not going to help your bhajan. It's not going to help anything regarding the issue, right? Only you should get clarity on the siddhant, right? Of course, sometimes, it's pointed out that Srila Prabhupada said this, but of course Srila Prabhupada made the countering statement also in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that should be concluded no one falls from Vaikuntha, right? And any time Yatra virudho vakya tarishyate, napramanyam tarishyate. Anytime you have two things which apparently are contradictory, you never take one statement over the other. So viruda yata tarartha kalpyate tayoho. You take both things, Jiva Goswami Prabhupada says, and you reconcile. So if there was genuinely the idea to reconcile, right, the understanding, then the truth will come out. The truth will emerge from it. But this is why I brought up the point earlier. You always have to be sitting in a position of reconciliation in order to understand any Siddhantic thing which may be difficult to digest. Because when you sit from a position of reconciliation, then the truth, because Bhagavan is sort of a self-reconciling reality, right? Everything is reconciled in Bhagavan. So how it is reconciled is what you want to get. And that will come by realization. And then if you're able to, you may be able to articulate it nicely, right? So that would be the hope, that what someone has realized, they can articulate it. But the conjecture, this is unwanted. Just speculation or conjecture. Yeah, well, this is an idea that, the spiritual world is like this. No, we have to have Sastra Praman. And if out of 18,000 verses in Srimad Bhagavatam, first of all, you could only find one, and in that one, immediately it's telling that this is an allegorical statement. It is not a Siddhantic statement or historical statement, it's allegorical. Then, you have a problem in presenting your case if you're insisting this is your only Sastra Praman. One verse out of 18,000 in Bhagavatam, which that also is not what you say it is, that's a problem. You understand? And on behalf of that devotee who's in that situation, again, you pray very deeply to Akhanda Tattva, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Akhanda Guru Tattva, and you beg that I will be able to arrange my circumstances to where I can have appropriate shiksha. And if any further development takes place, like that person then takes a Avaishnava stance. Oh, don't associate with anyone else. Don't get any shiksha anywhere. You understand? And this causes utpat in your life, the arising of confusion or crises of faith. Then parityagyo vidiyate. Then you have to give that situation up. Because faith is our only currency. Ado Shraddha. Faith is the first appearance of the currency to obtain bhakti. And Shraddha Anusari. It is the continual currency by which we move to the goal of bhakti. So any corruption in that Shraddha is problematic. And that you'll have to then say, what is Anukulyasya? What is this? Anukulyasya? Anukulyasya and Pratikulyasya Vivarjanam. What is Pratikul Vivarjanam? You'll have to remove that. Understand? What is Anukul for Krishna Seva will accept. What is Pratikul Vivarjanam? We have to remove that. Understand? So, and that doesn't become a personal thing. So you don't create offense. You simply are following what is Anukul and what is Pratikul, etc. according to the teachings of our Guru Vargas. All right, I have so many services to try to also get finished today, so hopefully that this was helpful to that devotee. And of course, Prabhuji, you can write me. I don't know if you're saying your wife is in the same position or not, but then also internally in the house, then you have to work those dynamics out as well. Because I don't remember if you mentioned that your wife, there was a similar discord here. But at any rate, together, you should pray to Lord Nityananda Prabhu that they will find a circumstance to reconcile everything for you and give you the most appropriate and best means of advancing in bhakti. Jai vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Radhe Radhe.